It was a vote last night by council to basically a blanket rezoning of the entire city, where multi-unit apartments can be built, fourplexes and whatnot. And it's all tied in with federal housing money of $250 million that the Liberals have promised. So it was the largest public meeting in Calgary history. It went a couple of weeks. I think 700 people addressed the council. 75% of them against it, and quite emotional scenes down there. Some people crying. But in the end, I guess democracy didn't win. Council voted 9-6 to move ahead with it, and cue the predictable outrage.
Yeah. As per that, though, I mean, was the string that tight with the transfer from the Trudeau government, or if the council had voted otherwise, would they have just given the money to Quebec, or would that money still be coming to Calgary?
Hard to know. Let's hope it was airtight, because if not, then they have just sold their soul for nothing. But it is, and I think you may have made this point yourself in one of your writings, that nobody voted for this. Like when the last municipal election came up, nobody said, and if elected, I will do everything I can to rezone single-family residential so that people can have fourplexes next door to their back gardens. Nobody campaigned for that, and yet they felt they had the authority, the mandate to do this. So was it the money? Well, yeah, I would say so. It makes sense. But the fact that so many people came out and said, no, we don't want this, 75% of the submissions to council were rejecting it. The fact that, take that with the fact that nobody had campaigned for this, and I actually think the city council has just acted outside its authority. This is going to be a national trend, you may depend.
Yeah, and I think political suicide is the word I used for it in a tweet last night. So many Calgarians are against it, yet the council decided to go against it. Just rather like, you talked about them not campaigning on it. It was like Mayor Gondek. She gets elected, day one and she's in office, she declares an $80 billion climate emergency. Well, wait, hang on a second. Where did that come from? Yeah. So if Calgarians finally get off their butts, which they don't like to do for civic elections, and get out there, this could be a sweeping change to council in a couple of years.
Well, to your point about where does this come from, she has a very good example at the national level of somebody who gets elected and then starts doing a whole bunch of things that he never talked about before he was elected. It seems like if you can just get in, the current generation of politicians thinks that once you have office, you can do what you want. In actual fact, what's the point of campaigning on a platform if the platform does not describe roughly the direction in which you want to go and be reasonably comprehensive of the list of the things that can be predicted? I mean, obviously, governments have to respond to unforeseen events, but there's nothing unforeseen about this. They've been working on rezoning for many, many years, but here it is. They feel they can make this decision. Well, the citizens will make a decision in 18 months' time. Let's hope it's just not gone too far that they can't pull this back.
Sorry, Corey. I mean, of the three of us sitting here, the only guys whose property values is going to go up is Corey, because he lives outside of town.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, it makes it more attractive to get the heck out of the city and away from the zoning to acreages and areas like where I live. So, but I'd rather not my fellow Calgarians suffered for the sake of my property values.
Yeah,
this council, I mean, it seems incapable of learning, though. I mean, we saw something different this time around with Mayor Gondek. As we said, Calgary has an apathetic voter base, pretty permissive with their mayors. I mean, we've been around long enough with Bronconnier or Klein or Dewar. I mean, their first two terms usually, it's a shoe-in. I mean, once you're in, as long as you don't rock the boat too hard, you get a really nice, comfortable honeymoon period. Gondek just pooped in the swimming pool the second she got in there, and her support numbers have shown like she's a record low support. And for those reasons you mentioned, she went completely against what she had campaigned on to get in to begin with. But they don't seem to have learned from this yet.
No, I mean, the polls show the entire council is historically low ratings. And you think as a smart politician, you want to maybe stay in your job, but they keep doing things to upset Calgarians. The plastic bag ban and things like that. It's like they're deliberately, it's almost like they're like Prime Minister Trudeau. They know they're going to get defeated, so they're trying to cause as much damage as they possibly can in the time that they have left in office.
That's right. They're certainly doing a job of that. I mean, it was almost inspiring that we don't see Calgarians get off their butts like that. There were thousands of submissions that came in too that weren't in person. And of those, apparently 90% of them were opposed to this. What's the point of public engagement when you can see that they spent 2 weeks sitting there listening to hundreds of people with thousands of submissions, nodding their heads, pretending they care, and then saying, okay, well, to hell with all of you, we're just going to.
Yeah, a lot of pictures of Councillor Giancarlo sitting there on his phone while, people are weeping as they're talking. The fix was in. The fix was in from the beginning.
So let's look on the bright side here. We know that City Hall moves at a snail's pace. If you were wanting to develop a piece of property within the city limits and you bought it today, I don't think you'd have your permits in place in 18 months' time. So there is a possibility of pulling this thing back. Now, how they deal with the money they've received from Ottawa or will receive from Ottawa, that's another matter, but come and get it.
We're not going to see apartment towers rising up in Pump Hill between the mansions quite yet.
I don't think so. But there is a chance to put another city council in place to direct the city administration, which I think generates and drives a lot of these ideas, and put them in their place.